10 minutes to 1 in the afternoon. I'm just getting into Manhattan for the March for Women's Lives. My plan is to meet some people at the South Street Seaport entrance. It's going to be 2 o'clock. It looks like it's going to be more like 3. And then go over to Washington Square Park and see if we can interview David McReynolds and some of the other people that are at the green event at the park there. And then this evening, Peter Camejo is scheduled to be at Washington Square Park, and then David McReynolds later at 7 over on West 24th Street. So we'll be back. It's a pretty intensive security atmosphere already. There's armed soldiers at Croton and Harmon train station. I'm not even going to photograph them because I don't want to get arrested before I get out of Westchester, but it's already unsettling. I've never seen this before up here. Okay, well, we're just pulling into Tarrytown. I've been on the train for about maybe 8 minutes, 10 minutes. I haven't seen any evidence of any more military at any of the other train stations, although that's only the view from the train. I'm not certain if the soldiers I saw in Croton are visible from the train either. It seemed that they would be from where I got on, but I don't know. They may be above in some other part of the station. So we'll see you in Manhattan. I'm still on the train, actually. A whole bunch of adolescents and some adults just got on the train in Dobbs Ferry, and it turns out that they are a contingent from, or perhaps the entire body of students from a rather innovative, it sounds like an innovative educational program. It's sort of a lab on experience-based education. This is Dave, who's talking to them. There's a whole gaggle of them. Okay, I'm on the train still. I'm with Dave and the class. We're going to talk to some of the kids who are in New York, many of them for the first time, and get an idea of what their impressions are, what the educational program they're going through. They're going to be in the city for the next few days, what they hope to see, and you can get an idea of some of the people that are in New York City today. Not everyone is a protester, not everyone is a Republican, that's for damn sure. And take that again, not everyone is a protester, and not everyone is a Republican delegate, and not everyone is a policeman or a member of militia or the Army. There's a lot of those out on all scores today, from what I understand already, and so you get a chance to meet some of the people that are here. So this is Dave. Dave, maybe you could tell us, give us a quick 10-cent thing on what's happening for us.
Oh, what you're about to see is City Term at the Master School on their first scavenger hunt expedition in the city. This is 30 kids from all over the country who have come together to study New York City in an interdisciplinary way, but the program's experience-based, which means we're in the city as much as we are in the classroom.
Good. So maybe I could speak with some of the people that are here. You can introduce me. That'd be nice.
Absolutely. Start.
You want to start?
Sure. Right now we're on a big scavenger.
First, what's your name?
Tori Whitney. And I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota, and this is our 3rd day at the program. And right now we're all going on a big scavenger hunt, and we get clues by clues. And I've never been in New York City at all, so this will be my first time. They're going to show me around, and we got to get to NYU, and then we'll find our next clue. It'll probably send us somewhere else.
So, and what's your name?
My name is Amanda Fouché.
And what do you think so far about this little? Where are you from, first of all?
I'm from Washington, D.C., and I'm having a great time so far. All the kids are really nice, and we're right now really working on building a community, and this is our first trip into the city. It's really exciting. Tori's never been before, and we're really excited about it, and we're just going to explore. So.
And what's your name?
My name is Jessie Brown. I'm from San Francisco, California. And yeah, this is really exciting. I've only been to New York like twice, and The program is great. I'm really excited. I think everyone else is, and everyone's really nice, and I think it's going to be a great experience for everyone.
Okay, thanks. I'm going to meet some of your you with these guys? What your name is?
My name's Sam. I'm from Maine.
What do you think so far?
It's great. It's like, I mean, I don't really know what to expect because it's the third day, but going into the city today, I've been once before.
What happened in the last 2 days? What's going on in the last 2 days?
Just like a lot of introduction, getting to know the people, your roommate, and yeah, just getting to know what we're going to be doing here.
Where are you staying now, Dobbs Ferry?
Yeah, Dobbs Ferry.
And what's your name?
My name is Ida. I'm from Vermont, and I applied to City Term because I've hardly had any experience with cities. I live in the middle of the woods, pretty much. And I've been to New York City a couple of times in the past 2 years, and it's amazing, and I can't get enough of it. So I'm really excited to go back for this term being completely immersed in the city.
What do you guys think about the fact that you're here while the Republican convention is going on?
It's going to be crazy, I guess, hectic.
Yeah, it's going to be so hectic. I really want to go in and see like everything that's going on.
Aren't you afraid, like, of the terrorist threat and all of the stuff that they talk about on television? Or
Think about it that much, actually.
Yeah, I'm not at all. Like I don't like I feel like that's over. Like it happens then.
Okay, thanks. We're pulling into Grand Central Station. Going to head downtown and see what's happening with the leftovers from the March for Women's Lives. And then we're going to head over to Washington Square, see if we can track down Peter Camejo or some of the other Greens that are there. Maybe get a little introduction to some of the plans they have for tomorrow for the big rally. And then we're going to take it play it by ear. So. And we are here at Grand Central Station. How was it?
It was great.
Yeah, were there a lot of people?
There are a lot of people.
What's your name?
I'm Hillary Myers.
Why did you go? Why did you think it was important?
Because I think that America needs to keep its values straight, and I don't think President Bush is going to do that if he's reelected.
Thank you very much.
So find the 4, 5, 6. You want to leave?
Oh, no, I know. If we go up and that way, there's like...
4, 5, 6.
No, but same thing, you know?
And we're off. Check 1, 2.
How does that work? Yeah, do the mic thing.
You guys talk to me. Talk to me. It works perfectly. It's just acoustics. Simple acoustics. Simple acoustics. Yikes. The bulk of the people come across the bridge already?
I would say yes, but they keep coming.
Yeah, cool. And you got like a handful of these knuckleheads over here? Yeah, okay.
Pro-murder! That's your choice! It's pro-murder! Pro-death! Anti-family! Pro-murder! Murder is your choice! Murder is your choice! Murder is their choice!
Now I'm coming up on City Hall Park, and sounds like there's quite a hap happening. Hey, what's happening, man? Yep. Looks like the media is all here. This is the what? This is the after the march.
After the drink.
Air conditioning.
Bye. Is it okay?
At the seaport.
All right, let's see. Let's see how it came up.
Oh, you want to actually see it?
Oh, yeah, you're okay. Here.
Want to look at it now?
It did it, yeah.
PCR. Press the play.
So I got here about half an hour ago, and everything was fine. They grabbed me, made me sit at this table, beat me until I drank half a bottle of vodka, and then they took all the money out of my pocket and made me pay for it. And now I feel like shit.
He's a liar. You got a big grin on your face.
Yeah.
So, Don is a liar. He's lying about all this. He did the drinking on his own.
Well, no, I'm sorry. Let's see.
He did not feed it to him.
Was it on my own? Let's see. Somebody there. See that empty glass right there we're looking at?
Not ready.
I wasn't drinking on my own. Someone was drinking while I was drinking.
Oh, here we go. Here's
that'd be the
dancing. Here's the dancer. The cheerleaders at the beginning.
I didn't get the good ones that they were
That's
talking
from the
about.
March for Women's Lives today.
Rowdy broads, man. Rowdy broads.
They were great. I wanted to ask them where they were from.
They're from the city. They're from the city, and there's some of them from Westchester too. There's some of them from.
It's finger licking good chicken, that stuff. It is.
Are you recording me?
Yeah.
Spilling the drinks here. What else are you recording?
spilling the drink.
Not yet, but I'm thinking it'll take 6 any minute.
I'll help you finish that last one, dear. Mother will help you.
It's like mother-daughter.
As mommy dribbles.
As mommy. I didn't dribble, did I?
A little bit.
Very short. Now I have a question. I'm standing in South East Street Seaport, about a block. Barely a block from the water. And yet, what we have here that's one story above retail. Now, how does this public-private partnership manage to do it without all of those apartments? Okay, so we're in the elevator on the way up to WBAI. These are the survivors so far. And here we are.
You didn't explain what we were surviving.
Well, we haven't finished surviving it yet, so I can't really say what we're surviving. Hey, how you doing? Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, feels much better.
Hey, dude.
Okay, so here we are. We're like here. Tell me who you are again.
My name's Carolina Johnson.
And what are you running
I'm
for?
running for state representative in Cambridge, Massachusetts with the Green Rainbow Party.
And why are you running?
Oh, that's a logo. I'm running for sort of two main reasons. First is that Massachusetts needs another party. Massachusetts right now only has one party effectively in the legislature. It's got the Democratic Party. The Republican Party doesn't challenge them. My district only has the Democratic Party. My opponent's an incumbent who's been in office since '96, hasn't faced any opposition at all since '98 when she had opposition to the Democratic primary. The Democratic majority that isn't able to pass any meaningful legislation has the problem, even though they've got the majority to override any veto party in Massachusetts. Secondly, Party is the Green Rainbow Party, and Cambridge, Massachusetts is one of the strongest areas for green support, and a live campaign is one of the best ways to activate, to organize, and to get people excited about what's going on.
One thing that's interesting is since you're one of the you're running against this established party. There's like a one-party system there, and you're part of like the new opposition. What is it exactly that they're doing that you would change?
What is it that they're doing that I would change?
That they're doing that you would change?
That I would change. Well, I think the first thing would be to actually make efforts to pass legislation to improve people's lives. Right now, there's no accountability in the system because, I mean, in 2002, about 2/3 of the races were unopposed and were uncontested. In 2000, it was even worse. Massachusetts is ranked 49th in the nation for our uncontested races. And so what happens is nothing gets done because there's no accountability. There's no check on any of the representatives. So there's no incentive for them to take any political risks, actually make anything uncomfortable for themselves. You have a very strong Speaker of the House who's managed to get himself elected Speaker for life. He eliminated term limits for the Speaker of the House. Rules with an iron fist, essentially, and doesn't allow legislation. He's a very conservative Democrat, very, very conservative, much more Republican in policy than a Democrat. Stays Democrat because he can stay in power, and pretty much ensures that nothing's getting done. You have things like the Clean Elections Law, which would have allowed public financing of elections, much like we have in Maine and Maine and Arizona. And that law was passed by the public by 2/3 majority. The legislature repealed that in 2003. So it's kind of like what I would change is pretty much everything about, or I mean, it takes more than one of me to do it, but what I would like to start trying to do is to change a system that's not getting anything done, that's not doing anything with people of Massachusetts, that's not trying to like improve options for housing for people living there, trying to improve health care, trying to improve public transportation, trying to actually make substantive changes that will make people's lives more pleasant, easier to live, and more meaningful. They're not trying to do that right now. They're just trying to maintain the status quo because it works.
How is it that what people are doing right now like blocks these things that people need?
Well, I couldn't hear that.
The way things are being done right now, apparently people's needs are not being met. Probably the system is blocking, the fulfillment of those needs. How would you, bridge that, like from what's happening now to what needs to happen for those things?
Well, I think there's sort of a variety of steps that can be taken in that sense. One of the first would be that there are very few within the Democratic Party who are willing to criticize what's happening in the party. Just it's party loyalty. It happens. We have political parties, and that's the way it works. And the first thing I'd want to do would be openly to expose some of what's happening. I actually worked in the State House, which is why I have an insider's point of view. I worked in the State of Representatives, along with a lobbying group working for public financing of elections.
Hang on. Let me ask you something. There are things that matter to the people that vote for Democrats that are not addressed. Okay, and yet there is this whole other thing that people have to do this or that to satisfy the machinery that gets Democrats elected. Which is like a difference, between these are people that are going to vote for us because they think we're going to take care of them, and these are the people that get elected who feel that I have to do what I have to do to get elected, and maybe I'll take care of the people voting for me, maybe I won't. So how can you bridge that?
Well, I think that the most important step to bridge that is to make running for office more accessible and more feasible to a greater number of people. And the step to doing that is to implement real electoral reforms. I mean, you can have things like implementing instant runoff voting, which could be, there's been a bill sitting in the House about that for this past legislative session. Nothing's being talked about with that, of course. That's one way you can do it, and just make it so that people don't have to be afraid. There doesn't have to be a fear of, if I vote for this person, is the person who's really going to win, not going to win. So that takes away that kind of political maneuvering on the part of the voters. You put things into place device like clean elections, like clean financing of public financing of elections that makes the monetary constraint of running for office more accessible. What do you mean? Most people who run for office have to have them. I'm running a very low budget campaign, and as soon as my opponent really feels like whipping out her offense, she's gonna have a serious leg up on me, because she's been building up a war chest for the past 8 years while in office and not facing opposition. I haven't been doing that. And that's a major step, is to make it so that ordinary people can afford to run. Because what happens once you have people running, then you have real debate happening, you have accountability, you have threats, you have incumbents who might lose their position if they aren't accountable to the people who are voting for them. I mean, that's one of my main things. It's like, Alice Wolf isn't bad. She doesn't do anything. Like with my race, even if I don't get elected, I want to hold her accountable to her voters and make a public space where I can ask her on behalf of many people who I know don't feel represented by her because they've told me so. Be like, why don't you take a stand against Speaker Fenner? Why don't you push? You say you put an IRB bill in the state. Why aren't you pushing for that to be passed? Why aren't you pushing for making housing affordable? I mean, that's what you do with an election, with a democracy. We don't have democracy in Massachusetts. We have the party picks and chooses who goes in, they go in, they stay there for as long as they want, and that's unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Thank you very much.
We have 8 cars off the street. We have to take 4 trucks off the streets of Williamsburg and Greenpoint. And, you know, I'm a local candidate. I want to put myself out there as a peace candidate. And I think the only way that makes sense is if I go and if I fight for the state and for the city to pay its fair share to the MTA. So the MTA doesn't have to borrow to run its operations. They don't have to keep raising our fares. And to break our dangerous dependency on foreign oil. And I don't really want to take too much more time. And I want to hear from David. And I thank David for coming out to help us out here with this hideous RNC situation we have to put up with. But you know, I'm glad that he's here. And I'll bring up Rebecca. And thanks a lot. Vote Green. If you live in New York, vote for your local Green candidates, and definitely, whatever state you live in, vote for David. Thanks.
You can edit that. All right, so I didn't mention my name is Lynn Serpy, and I'm the National Campaign Manager of the Travel March campaign. Most of you know me as the bar girl, but I do other things in my spare time. One of the things I do is I work with my local, which is North Brooklyn, and Mark and Rebecca are 2 of the candidates from North Brooklyn. So let's bring up Rebecca to talk about her race for state senate. Come on down.
My 2 favorite things. Hi, my name is Rebecca White. I'm running for state senate in North Brooklyn. Mark's district is actually inside of my district, and so a few times in my life where I can say mine's bigger. I've had the pleasure of working with David multiple times. He's been so wonderful. He came to one of our local events. He did the dishes. He's done fundraisers with us. He's come out and done media events with us. And the first time I heard from David, I heard that he was going to use this race as a the presidential race to go ahead and get media and then pass it on to the people down ticket, to use his media attention for the local candidates. And I have never ever seen anyone live up to their promise the way that David Cobb has. So I want to thank David for helping out local candidates. I have many of the same issues that Mark has, since we share the same territory, and transit is a really huge deal out there, as he had mentioned. Affordable housing is also a major deal in our neighborhood. They're rezoning our waterfront, and they're turning it into 35-story condos for the wealthy. And a lot of people are getting displaced. A lot of families are having to double up, and people say, well, how can people live like that? Well, you don't really have a choice. You have to take in your sister. You have to take in your cousin. It's not a choice. And when they rezone it, we need to make sure that affordable housing is inclusionary. And it gets to be a lot of housing nitpicking, but the main thing is to make sure that affordability is specified, what that means. It means that it has to be affordable to the people in the neighborhood, not to the middle income of the whole regional area. And it also means that you have to not just create incentives, but you have to force them to, because you can't just ask a developer to build affordable housing and hope that they'll do it. You have to force them to do it, because capitalism will always look over the little guy. That's why you have to build structure that ensures equity. So those are pretty much the two big issues in the neighborhood. And again, thanks to David, thanks to everybody. It was a great festival this afternoon. Thanks everyone, vote green.
Okay, we have another local candidate in the audience, but before I bring her up here, I wanted to thank Giorgio, who is our host for the evening, for allowing us this space. For those of you who aren't from New York City, this is a really kick-ass space. You have no idea how great this space is. So thank you very much, Giorgio. We really appreciate it. All right, next I'd like to bring up Carolina Johnson, who's running for state rep in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Carolina, come on down.
So I'm Carolina Johnson. I'm running for state rep in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and I'm on vacation by coming down to the RNC. Needed to get out of the district for a weekend. And I'm just here. I think I've got a lot of the same points as the other two have made tonight about how impressed I have been with the way that David Cobb has actually taken his campaign and used it to build a movement. Where my district is unique. Well, applause for David there. My district is unique. Massachusetts is unique. It's a one-party state. There's a Republican governor, but he doesn't do anything. The Democrats have the majority in the legislature to such an extreme that the Republican governor can do nothing. But yet the Democrats do nothing. And all that this says to me is that it's time to get a new party, a new movement. I think that David Cobb's campaign is the only campaign that's really trying to build a long-lasting, real movement from the bottom up. Not just from the media attention on the national level, not just making noise because he can, but really taking the time to come to all of our campaigns. He did a fundraiser for me too, myself and Rich Satola, who's running for state senate in Massachusetts. Just taking time to come out.
I'm on the bar from the river. Good morning, everyone. First, yesterday morning, there was an event at the Union Point 2 nuclear power plant. after a malfunction was detected in a valve that regulates the flow of water into one of the 4 steam generators. The plant was shut down. According to Entergy Nuclear Northeast, the operator of Indian Point 2 and Indian Point 3, there was no release of radioactivity. Indian Point 3 continues to operate at full power. Indian Point 2 was shut down after the control room operators detected a problem with the valve that feeds the water to the reactor. The plant has been operated without interruption for 382 straight days following last summer's major Northeast blackout. Entergy said Indian Point 2 is expected to return to full service by this weekend. So, just so you know what's going on. The convention, apparently, George Pataki is ready to let Mr. Bruno have the spotlight tonight. A security checkpoint provided a little comic relief this week, thanks to President Bush's sister. This, by the way, is from the Poughkeepsie Journal this morning. Access to Madison Square Garden is extremely limited during the Republican National Convention, although Medea seemed to be able to get in there. Police and other security people thoroughly examined the credentials hanging around the necks of those seeking entrance to the arena. The credentials have a large numeral printed on the front, 1 to 5 for each of the sessions held during the convention. Monday morning session required the 1 pass, Monday evening the 2 pass, and so on. So when Dora Bush Koch, the president's sister, arrived at the garden Monday night, security wanted to know where her credential was. She turned to her sister-in-law and said, "Did you pick up my number 2?" At which point people started to snicker and laugh, she recalled. Okay, it's a little potty humor from the Bush sisters. Supporters of Pataki have made no secret about their hopes that his gig tonight introducing President Bush at the convention could be a jumping-off point for a possible presidential bid of his own in 4 years. Some would suggest he visit the Empire State Building for a jumping-off point, but that's another matter. After a glowing introduction by Senate Majority Leader Joseph Bruno Monday morning at a breakfast for delegates, Pataki apparently had thoughts of stepping out of the spotlight. "Maybe I should pass tomorrow night and let you introduce the president," Pataki, they say, quipped to Bruno. I don't know, was that a quip? Let's see, there's also a strike at the Chromalloy New York Orangeburg plant. A few hundred people walked off the job following a decisive vote rejecting a new 5-year agreement with the company. Spokesman for Local 475 of the IUE, the industrial division of the CWA, the communications workers, said the union and management remain very far apart on issues of wages and benefits. In addition, the union is seeking a 3-year contract instead of the 5-year pact the workers turned down in voting yesterday by 4 to 1. Last, in the North County News up in northern Westchester, Adam Stone, reporter, reports that the Republican chair of the Westchester County Republican Party, Rosemary Panio, has referred to all of us that were involved in any of the demonstrations in New York City as terrorists. There is a very interesting article on this in the North County News. I was very strongly encouraged by Earl Maitland to keep this under 4 minutes because we're tight this morning. So with a report from up the river, and this is Don DeBar. Good luck with the rest of the RNC, folks. Stay out there.
When Dora Bush Koch, the president's sister, arrived at the garden Monday night, security wanted to know where her credential was. She turned to her sister-in-law and said, "Did you pick up my number 2?" At which point people started to snicker and laugh, she recalled. Okay, well, potty from the Bush sister. Supporters of
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. And from up the river, I'm Don DeBar. Good morning, everyone. First, the big item in Westchester County has to do with the budget of the Yonkers City School District. The budget cuts in the Yonkers City School District. It's related to the entire budget issue up in Albany, very closely related. It's also related to the relationships that exist between the various members of the Westchester delegation to the New York State Legislature, headed by Senator Nick Spano from Yonkers on the Senate side, as a matter of fact, and the governor of the state of New York. People in the city of Yonkers are facing the loss of hundreds of teachers. In fact, that's been accomplished on paper. There are people on the local news program last night on television that were teachers talking about how they have been fired. So we're going to keep an eye on that, and I'm going to try to post a special piece to the BAI website about that in the next couple of weeks. Suffice to say that the largest city in Westchester County is getting the shaft from the state and from its own city government at its weakest point, the children. In Middletown, New York, well, let's go first to Rockland County. While we're looking at the dysfunctional state legislature, most of the people in that legislature who have been unable to pass a budget up until yesterday are running either unopposed or against a third-party candidate only. Where someone dared to challenge them, they have been more or less body slammed in the political process. One example is in the 97th Assembly District, where the Democratic candidate is accusing a Republican opponent of election fraud and forgery. Democratic Bonnie Cram filed a lawsuit in the state Supreme Court accusing family members of Republican candidate Annie Rabbitt of forging her signature on 6 petitions she did not witness. Cram is also accusing Rabbitt's daughter, Erin Rabbitt, of forging her brother's signature on a petition. If the court decides the signatures are fake, Rabbitt's entire petition could be invalidated and should be taken off the Republican Party ballot line. Rabbitt called the allegations baseless and accused Cram of trying to steal the election. What's been happening all over, basically, is that rather than facing down candidates in an election, and believe me, the Republicans have been challenging Democrats just as fiercely as Democrats have been challenging Republicans, but rather than allowing people to vote on for their choice, the parties have each been trying to use the process to take that choice away from voters, basically, and leaving one candidate in each case. Here in the 90th Assembly District, which runs from Ossining up to through the town of Phillipstown in Putnam County, there was a Democratic primary, and mysteriously the challenger to Assembly member Sandra Galiff withdrew and consented to a lawsuit to knock him off the ballot. We're still trying to figure that one out. There have been some allegations that because he is employed as the director of a nonprofit, that perhaps there are some funding issues, either increased funding or the threat of decreased funding that may have motivated his withdrawal. But we'll be following that very closely. The city of Newburgh is looking to have its ethics board fulfill its mission. In a city with a history of secret council meetings, contract flip-flopping, attorney general investigations, behind-the-scene negotiations, how many times have officials been challenged on ethical mischief? None. This is according to an article on August 9th in the Middletown Times-Herald Record. You can see that stuff online at www.recordonline.com. There is also an article called A Soldier's View of Life Inside Iraq, which appeared on that date. It's a journal from Dr. Vito Imbasiani, who's a Newburgh native, who's been reporting from Iraq for the last couple of weeks. We have coming up a number of events in the area here. Let's see, one is that the Mid-Hudson Valley People's Assembly will be taking place in September 18th and 19th. With keynote speakers and workshops and the Youth Day and such. We'll be filling out more details as that develops. And also, over the coming week, we have at Westpac first on this Saturday the 14th, a vegetarian buffet to help support the peace and justice movement in Haiti and the Dominican Republic. This will be at the Westpac Foundation, 255 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, White Plains, New York. For more details, 914-682-0488 or www.westpac, that's WESPAC.org. And also, this coming Monday, what's the date of this? We're talking Monday the 16th from 7 to 9 at Westpac. There will be a meeting about the role of public media in supporting those struggling against bad schools, gentrification and neighborhood displacement, health risk and environmental racism, fewer jobs and more prisons, and how community media such as BAI can be used to as a tool of liberation. You can join speakers Sheila Hamanaka and myself and others for an examination of the role of media in this. For more information, you can call 914-682-0488 or 718-859-0857. With a report from up the river, this is Don DeBar. They sold out to get this accomplished, and I agree, this is important. This is something that affects people where they live, people that really need help. If you're living on a minimum wage, I didn't hear a word out of Napolitano about it. But anyway, and he had something to say about this meeting change thing too. He asked, after the time had passed, do we have to go through the formality of a vote on this, basically? But instead of asking where, at the beginning of the meeting, where public comment was, to see if, hey, maybe we won't move it to the end, he waited until after the agenda was done, then asked, and didn't know the answer to. That's one of the things that they tell you. You don't ask any questions that you don't know the answer to. Unfortunately, that would mean that for a lot of folks, in our village government, they couldn't ask any questions, because they don't really have very many answers. By the way, some of you probably know, I'm running for mayor this year. I'm running on an independent line, and right now we're gathering signatures to get me on the ballot. We've only got about a week and a half left to do it. I have to get a lot because it's not a party line. And so if from up the river, this is Don DeBar. Last night I had the privilege of meeting some folks over in Spring Valley at the Martin Luther King Center, and I'd like to thank Cassandra Edward and the other people that were there for hosting myself and some of our friends. Very interesting work that goes on there, and I hope to be reporting on some of the activities around Spring Valley and the surrounding environs in more detail after meeting some local media folks who we are going to be working with in the near future. I would like it if folks that have a pen that aren't driving, if you're driving, pull over. We'll write down a few of the things that we're going to discuss today. First, I encourage you to go to the WBAI website at www.wbai.org and scroll down the front page to the local section. Starting last week, we began posting the transcripts of the report from Ruth, and we've been doing Jim's for a couple of weeks now, and there's video of this report. So if you have friends that want to know what's going on in the metropolitan area outside of the New York City proper boundaries, you can refer them to the website. And also, I would like to encourage people that are out in the community that would like to get their information out to people to send requests or send information to myself, and my email address is under the link for the regional roundup. But if you have your pencil out, it's Don DeBar, DONDEBAR, at yahoo.com. This coming Tuesday, a very important event in Westchester at White Plains, is a potluck picnic to welcome the DNC to RNC Democracy Uprising March. That's on Tuesday, August 24th from 5 to 9 p.m. at Tibbetts Park on North Broadway. Those that don't know where Tibbetts Park is in White Plains, it's on North Broadway. It's actually the median that divides the northbound and southbound lanes of Broadway between Main Street and Hamilton Avenue. This is being sponsored by Westpac, and for more information you can reach Westpac at 914-682-4690, and for more information about the DNC to RNC Democracy Uprising March, you can go to the web at www.dnc, the number 2, rnc.org. Also, would like to thank Westpac for hosting an event this past Monday night. It was good to get out and see folks in the local community here. Don't generally get as much chance to talk as I'd like to, because when we see each other, usually there's too much work to do. One very important thing going on in Westchester County is what's happening in the schools in Yonkers. About 1 in 7 teaching jobs in the city school district. Most of the district's social workers and psychologists were laid off. This is in a budget battle with the city's mayor. Unfortunately, the state of New York has also exacerbated the situation by dropping some of the funding that goes to the Yonkers City School District. Meanwhile, they peeled about $50 million out of the budget and still raised property taxes 15%. This is the same school district that was noted for the fact that all of the senior officials in the city government, including the school district, got brand new SUVs worth about 40 grand. I think there were something like 50 of them spread around the city government. You can do the math, but I assume they could have kept a couple of teachers if they had made that a priority over sporting. In Hilburn in Rockland County, there was a meeting last night to discuss the problems facing the community with development. That's in the Journal News today. We are tight for time, so I'm going to roll. Again, you can contact me at dondebar at yahoo.com. Go to the WBAI website. Let's get ready for next week, folks. We're going to be in New York with a report from up the river, and peace and justice for all. This is Don DeBar.